Okay, so go when you're ready. Oh, bumper, stop. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's we're going to be doing an off-road comparison with the Land Rover Defender, the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392, and the all-new Toyota Sequoia TRD Pro. I know that this might seem like an apples to oranges comparison, but all of these vehicles sticker for about the same amount of money. That Defender is $85,000 for the sticker price, the Wrangler is $86,000, and then the Sequoia is $80,000. So if you're going to spend $80,000 on an off-roader, should you go Toyota, should you go Jeep, or should you go Land Rover? Let's try to find out. Okay, so we're setting off in the Sequoia first for the high-speed off-roading. Now, I'm still in two-wheel drive high. Obviously, with this being a dirt road, we don't really need four-wheel drive because we're going to be going fast enough that it's like, yeah, it doesn't make sense. So I'm actually in sport mode. I want to see how that kind of feels on this type of road. Now, the Sequoia obviously has the Fox shocks, which help out quite a bit with damping. And the tires that this has are pretty good as well in terms of the overall size. They're about 32.5 inch in terms of the height. So good with that. Handling on this is pretty decent. I will say the steering's kind of vague, so it scares me to go like super quick with this, to be honest. And the back end floats around quite a bit. Again, this still has a solid rear axle, independent front suspension. Yeah, see, look at that. You can go down in a Buick. So we don't need 4x4 with this. The traction control system's pretty solid with putting down the power. I can tell it's sending torque from one side to the other depending on what's slipping out and what's not. But yeah, Toyota's basically said that this is supposed to be more of like a high-speed off-roader. And, you know, it's definitely no Raptor, that's for sure. But for being, you know, a third row, what I would consider like a mommy SUV, I think it does a pretty good job. And it's got so much torque with this hybrid twin turbo V6 that it moves. We're setting off in the Defender. We have this set in the normal ride height. Now this obviously has air shocks compared to the TRD Pro's, you know, regular multi-link suspension in the back, independent in the front. So that has traditional springs, obviously. And so with the air shocks, here's what Land Rover actually says. Is that just, no, okay, that's just off the top. I was like, what the heck was that? Land Rover says with any of their product to drive as slow as possible and as fast as necessary. So basically what they say is they don't want you to drive their product super fast, and you can kind of feel that with the handling and everything. Now what I do want to say is this is actually, I'd say, just as comfortable on these roads as the Sequoia, which is impressive because again, those Fox shocks are really good at damping, but the air shocks that this has are really solid. Do you know how to turn off the rear windshield thing? Apparently I don't know how to work my own Defender. Thank you. I have 240 miles on this, which we just drove like 40 something miles. So I've only driven this like a little bit, not a lot. But all you need to know is, like, with this, you guys can see the speed difference. In the Sequoia, we're going like 50 miles an hour. This, we're going like mid 30s, and this is as fast as I feel comfortable, frankly, going with the Defender over this type of terrain. Actually, I'm even going to be slowing down a little bit because it just doesn't, like, you can feel like, I'm sure it could handle a little bit more, but it just doesn't feel like that's what it was made for. So just understand, with the Defender compared to something like the Sequoia, oh yeah, especially over that bump, that was kind of harsh. This is going to be more of like a middle of the line speed. You're not going to be going crazy fast down the trails. So doing the high speed with the Wrangler, and here's the deal. The Wrangler obviously has the best tires when it comes to off-roading, and when it comes to high-speed off-roading, more sidewall is better. But we have solid front and rear axles, and we just have these crappy Mopar shocks on it with the Extreme Recon package. Sorry, my hands are so cold from being outside. It's like, if you guys have been outside, you understand, like, gripping the steering wheel is kind of difficult. But yeah, it's a bumpy ride. Now, it can handle it from like the standpoint of like, I don't feel bad about going over bumps, but it's not comfortable. I would say the Sequoia, ooh yeah, definitely. The Sequoia out of the bunch is definitely the most comfortable. The Defender, at this same speed, the Defender is actually more comfortable. So the Wrangler is the least comfortable from the suspension, but I'd say that the Wrangler can handle bumps probably almost as good as the Sequoia. This has more travel than the Sequoia because the Sequoia has like no ground clearance, no travel, but it's just, yeah, it's so bumpy. with the Wrangler. And so it's like you have all this power, which is funny. Like this has the most horsepower out of the bunch, but you have like the least ability to use it off-road. On-road, you can obviously use it, but off-road, it's pretty much, you know, I wouldn't say it's useless, but it's more useless, if that makes sense, because like you guys can see I'm in automatic mode. I'm probably in like, let's see what gear, 6th gear, and just lightly going into the throttle, because that's all that I can really do here in the Wrangler 392. So when I do get in the throttle, it sounds good, but there's not a lot of getting onto the throttle. And in today's video, we're supposed to be doing an off-road comparison between the all-new Land Rover Defender, the Toyota Sequoia TRD Pro, and the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392. And, well, we were looking for a filming location for this video, and we got stuck first thing in the video. So, like, wasn't even filming this, but basically drove around here and then drove down. Didn't know that this was, like, I mean, you guys can see it just looks like snow. So, yeah, always beware with where you're driving off-road, because this thing is completely stuck. And well, the problem with the new Sequoia is it doesn't have any tow hooks, so I don't know how we're gonna get out of this, but we're gonna bring the other two vehicles over here and see if we can figure out something. But yeah, this is kind of catastrophic. Okay, well, after walking 1.5 miles to get the other vehicles here to save us, we're back in the Sequoia, and what I'm gonna be doing is trying to get this fully into neutral. So we're gonna put it in drive actually for a sec. Well, actually, 2-wheel drive. I know it sounds crazy. Neutral. Okay, so everything's in neutral here at this point, and so that should allow the Jeep to pull us out. Okay, so go when you're ready. Oh, bumper, stop! It just pulled off. It just pulled off. Okay, well, Jenks is trying to figure this whole situation out. If you guys don't know, the new Sequoia TRD Pro and the Tundra TRD Pro do not come with tow hooks from the factory. And so we've got to figure out how to pull this out without tow hooks somehow. And I mean, you guys can see this thing got buried pretty quickly here. 9.1 inches of ground clearance here with the Sequoia. And so it's, yeah, it doesn't have a whole lot of clearance to go through stuff like this. Okay, I'm good when you guys are. Looks like it's not really doing much. Oh, the Jeep's spinning. Man, this thing is stuck. It's kind of pulling on the fog light there at the bottom of the bumper too. It looks like it's almost pulling it off. It's putting a bit of pressure on it. Wait a second, I got an idea. Okay, so I'm in the Wrangler now, and I'm reversing a bit because ooh, man. I think we might have the Wrangler stuck at this point. This is a mess. I'm gonna go forward a little bit. Oh my goodness. Man, we might have to get like... Yeah, the Wrangler's cutting power like crazy. It is stuck. Oh my goodness. This has turned into a tragedy. I gotta go look at how bad this is. Let's see. We might have to switch tow straps. It's just like not getting any traction. That's so weird. Okay, so new strategy here. I'm gonna try to turn a little bit here. Okay. Let's see if this helps. Oh, there we go. Got it out. And then, well, now we're in 4-wheel high part time. Now we're neutral again. Oh, it's just in 4-wheel drive low. So now it's locked. So we should be a lot better off, but we might have to just completely redo this. Maybe we're gonna have to try to get it from behind. Okay, so our new strategy here, hopefully you guys can actually I was pointing the microphone towards me so you guys can hear me. The new strategy is to flip the Wrangler around. That's probably what we should have done from the start rather than trying to reverse pull it out. And maybe that'll make it so that it'll do better. Looks like the Wrangler's still spinning. Stop. Okay, go when you're ready. Jeep spinning. Sequoia spinning. It's not going anywhere. Like, it's just stuck.
All right, gonna give her a little gas.
Yep. This thing's stuck. Okay, looks like we're starting again. So, starting to pull it up a little bit. Got the winch attached again with both of the Wranglers. It's still pulling them forward though. My goodness. This thing is stuck. So we have a change of plans. What we're trying now is to pull up the Sequoia from the rear here, but the problem is Toyota has some odd sizes for everything associated with the receiver hitch, so it's making it hard to actually hook up a tow strap. Okay, here's the next go around. Pulling it up the back way. Huh? Last. I think we're finally gonna get out of this situation. Look at this. Jeep for the win, that's all I gotta say. Actually winches too. The Titanic has reemerged. That's what we're calling this, the Titanic. Because it's so heavy. Okay, well, we are back in the Sequoia after getting it recovered, and huge shout out to the guys with the Jeeps and the winches. And I guess I'm gonna have to invest in a little bit more off-road recovery kit because, you know, I don't do these videos all that often, but like, yeah, I mean, this is something that's probably going to happen more in the future, so I'll have to invest in a little bit more stuff to get this handled. So we just took all three vehicles down some more off-road trails just to at least get an idea of how they compare to each other. Sorry that today's video wasn't the greatest because, well, getting stuck, obviously it's a part of off-roading, and yeah, it's very time consuming, but regardless, here's my impressions. And here's kind of like my thoughts with all three vehicles when it comes to off-roading. The Sequoia is great with high-speed off-roading. When it comes to low speed, it's so big, it's so heavy that it definitely struggles. I'd say that if I were to actually off-road one of these, then I would probably lift it a bit and put 35s on it, and then I think that it would perform very well. But with stock format, it's just too heavy for how small the tires are on this, and it just doesn't have enough ground clearance. Again, 9.1 inches is not enough for how long this vehicle is. And then when it comes to the Defender, that's the one that's the most shocking for me. Obviously, you guys know I just bought that, and the four-wheel drive system, that's amazing. It's so comfortable off-road. That's like bougie luxury off-roading, and so yeah, pretty crazy there. And then with the Wrangler, right, solid axles, front and rear, body on frame, that thing's a beast. And so like that Wrangler doesn't struggle at all. But the thing that did surprise me between the Wrangler and the Defender is the Wrangler actually slipped a lot more than the Defender. The Wrangler has much bigger tires, but the four-wheel drive system on the Defender is so good at distributing power that it seemed like it did a better job with a lot of stuff that the Wrangler was kind of struggling with. So here's how I would do it. If I was just gonna go on light trails and do some higher speed off-roading, Sequoia. If I'm going to just be going out on an off-road adventure, but some of the stuff's gonna be a little bit more difficult, Defender. If I'm just gonna be going and doing some rock crawling, mostly slow speed off-roading, then I'll take the Wrangler. Let me know which one you guys would choose.